Hi, we're back in the garage with the 2010 Honda NT700V, and this video is pertaining to the addition of the Hondaline power outlet accessory. Bottom line, if you can avoid it, don't use it. And I'll give you a couple reasons why. If you go to the Hondaline catalog, the power outlet accessory kit is kind of expensive. I think it's like $65, $69 or something like that. Plus they say you need a Hondaline sub-harness to connect the kit to the wiring harness of the motorcycle, which indeed you do. Big problem with that is, and we'll start right with the connection, is that connector right there is what they want you to connect to. It's a beautiful 4-pin weatherized connector, and that Hondaline harness, sub-harness, is literally just a foot-long cable that converts it to a 3-pin unweatherized connector for some unknown reason with a little rubber umbrella onto it. So it's literally just a pigtail, a breakout cable if you will. It's additional cost too. So by the time you buy this sub-harness and the Hondaline kit, it's kind of an expensive power outlet. This sub-harness only allows you to add one Hondaline power accessory, and it's designed to be used with any of them. So if you have heated grips, you can't use the heated grips and the power outlet at the same time. So it's one device or the other, but not both. The writing in the Hondaline catalog says this sub-harness is required for heated grips and power outlet accessory. That "and" should be turned into the word "or," because it's one or the other, but not both, just so you know. Other than that, you'd have to be dividing that wiring harness into you'd have to clamp into it or break out into it to run them both. If you wanted to do something like that, this is a pretty decent alternative. It's Napa part number 784230, and basically it's a little clamp you can kind of clamp onto a power wire and add an extra wire to it, and it just pushes and locks down kind of like a Scotch lock. So it saves you some cutting and splicing and soldering and shrink tubing, unless you you want to go that route for a secure connection and you want to shrink it up with shrink tubing that has the adhesive on the inside of it and weatherize it and all that kind of stuff. But if you're looking for a quicker way out, you could actually use this and maybe even shrink tube over top of this, or wrap it with some electrical tape if you don't mind that kind of look. But anyways, I don't think you'd have to go through all that, because personally I wouldn't go with the Hondaline accessory outlet at all. The second thing is the power outlet accessory kit from Honda is actually the one that they use for the ST1300. So when you buy it and you get it and you look at the instruction manuals of how to put it into your motorcycle, it only covers the ST1300. The NT700V is not covered anywhere. So it kind of leaves it completely up to you to put it wherever you can fit it. And that's a little bit of a task too, because it's a deep socket on the back side of it, and the NT700V is kind of tight with the working room you have around these pockets, the glove boxes if you will. And that's where they want you to mount it on the NT700V, but you don't have as much room on this one, so you probably would end up cutting some plastic or doing some work to get it in there. And then lastly, what I found about the Honda accessory module, which is this guy, is it didn't work well for me. I don't know if I had a defective one. It looks nice. Has a nice soft rubber cover, says Honda right on it. It fit the hole very well, but the when you plug into it, the accessory plugs just didn't hold into it well. My GPS one would fall out of it, totally getting intermittent connections all the time. It just really wasn't holding on to any of plug well at all. So I had nothing but trouble with mine. I had to end up actually taking it out. And if you have a 1300V or you have this and you're experiencing the same problem, I found a nice replacement for it. The Marine Co. actually plugs in the same exact way. It's a little less, it's a little more shallow in depth than the Hondaline by maybe a ½ inch. It fits the same hole properly, and I found it to be a superior outlet over the Hondaline. It actually has a twist lock feature to it, so if you use the corresponding Marine Co. plug, which has an O-ring on it and it seals it nicely, when you plug it in, you can plug it and turn it and it'll click and it'll lock in, so it won't fall out. I mean, a hard tug will pull it past the lock and it'll come out, which is kind of good. But when you put it in, you click it and you lock it, it's in pretty snug. I have no problems with intermittent connections or anything of the such with these. You don't need this proprietary thing. If you plug a regular GPS or any kind of power outlet into this guy, it'll hold in snug even without the locking feature. So because it mounts the same way, plugs in the same way, and it's a direct replacement, as you could see, for the Hondaline, I would replace it with this guy if you already have one. If you're going to add it for the first time to a 700V, I would skip the whole Hondaline thing altogether, because by the time you buy that sub harness and the Hondaline kit, which is like $65 or $69 or something, you're into it pretty deep, and it's just not a good thing. I personally would go for a powerlet kit. And powerlet, even if you don't use their proprietary power outlet like the BMWs do, they do now make a very nice high quality 12-volt receptacle that your standard GPS, iPod, or anything will plug into. And the harness gives you, the kit gives you the powerlet like that, and it gives you a harness that runs directly from the powerlet, and on this bike it's very easy to snake it through right to your battery. And at the battery, it's fused at the battery. The plus there is that you have a direct line from your powerlet to the battery with a fuse, and if you wanted to use the power outlet as a reverse situation where you want to plug a battery tender into it or something, all you got to do is flip open your glove compartment and plug your battery tender right into it. You got a direct line to the battery, and you're charging your battery. The Hondaline kit, that particular power outlet accessory shuts off when you turn the key off on the motorcycle, and you can't backfeed it to the battery, so you really can't use it for a charging receptacle either. So the powerlet system, which I think is about $45 complete with the harness and all the hardware, is the better way to go, in my honest opinion. That's the deal with the powerlet versus the Hondaline accessory module. For the NT700V, keep the rubber side down.